Masvidal Marira, CascadiaSports.net. Hey there, Brian. I'm just wondering if you could talk about that first 10 minutes of the second half, 3 goals. Just
The good ones or the bad one?
let's start with the good, and then you can go to the bad one.
Well, look, we can knock everything out. You know, goals change games. I mean, they started with a goal that, you know, the intensity, the thing that our players learned in these last 2 games is just the intensity is just a little notch higher. You know, so the bouncing ball in midfield, Obed can't bring it down, and the ball comes out, and Reed has a chance to either tackle a guy at midfield or foul a guy at midfield, but that doesn't happen, and they're off. And I mean, Atletico, I mean, when they go with intensity. You want to talk about that? You know, the second goal, you know, Steph has saved our butts like hundreds of times, but now we need to repay the favor. Now, our defenders need to get to that rebound first and clear the ball out and, you know, do what we need to do. The third one comes from a throw-in. Which we need to be organized better. The good news about that is, you know, a couple of those goals might be fixable. And then continue with the good news, our goal was good. You know, Obed showed his quality and a nice little knockdown by Moose. You know, Albert putting the final touches on it. But we had some good moments. You know, Christian laid Kalani in the first half and a couple half chances in the second half, offside goals, you know, that we maybe need to just have a little more patience. But, you know, overall, you know, the first 10 minutes of the game, the first 10 minutes of the second half, the entire 90 minutes, I thought our team represented themselves very well.
Seattle created, once again, so many chances, especially in the second half, 16 against 15 from Atletico. How to resolve the lack of forcefulness and the lack of score, yeah, towards the opposite?
Well, it's what differentiates, you know, a team like Atletico and the players that they have, and still our team. We were missing Jordan Morris, our striker. That's never an excuse. We don't use excuses. Other players can fill the role. But I think in those critical moments, inside the 18-yard box, I think that's where, you know, the big players earn their paychecks. You know, I would also say defensively too, because, you know, we had some half chances in the second half, and you know, the Atletico players were throwing their bodies in front and trying to, you know, block the shots. So just that little bit of extra, you know, idea, intensity, savvy inside the 2 18-yard boxes is what sometimes makes a difference between 2 teams.
¿Qué tal, coach? Miguel Martín Talavera, de la cadena SER en España. Quería preguntarle por el...
Oh.
Un momento, por favor.
Lo siento, mi español es muy malo.
No hay problema. Como mi inglés, entonces. Le preguntaba...
Go.
Sorry.
Help out. He can help.
I can help you.
Yeah.
Can you go ahead?
Sí, le preguntaba que, qué le ha parecido el Atlético de Madrid, si se lo imaginaba así como rival y cuál cree que son los puntos más fuertes del equipo de Simeone. Gracias.
Tengo mucho respeto para Atlético y Diego Simeone. What I liked was that he was intense even at the game was 3-1 in his favor. And I think his team plays like he used to play. He was a tremendous player. And, you know, that's something I learned from. We actually have an exercise in practice that we call Simeone. So we try and defend 4-4-2. So that's the best compliment I can give him.
Thank you. Elliot Almond, Cascadia Daily News in Bellingham. Brian, I wanted to ask you sort of a bigger picture question. Obviously, the most important thing every day you wake up and come to the pitch is getting to the MLS Cup. But with this Cup going on now and the World Cup coming back to Seattle next summer, is there an extra responsibility that you and the players have in Seattle and for the state of Washington?
I would think that the opportunity that we earned to play in the Club World Cup, being 1 year prior to the actual World Cup, I don't know if that's responsibility or reward, I might say. It's our job to represent our club, ourselves, and I think the players have done that so far. Judging by what I've seen for the first 2 games, I think the responsibility of our fans, they ticked that box. They were very vocal the first game against Botafogo. They stayed with us in this game. And so I think this entire experience for the Club World Cup is just going to generate more excitement for our sport. And that's going to, hopefully, we make a deep run in the playoffs and we can add some more excitement prior to the World Cup coming in 2026.
Hello, Coach. Here. Albert Traver de la Agencia F. Atletico and Botafogo will be playing on Monday to classify to the knockout stage. You played against both of them. Which one would you say is a stronger opponent for you guys?
You're putting me on the spot. I think they're different styles. I'm looking forward to just as a fan. I mean, I know we'll have a game that day as well, but I mean, these games are all very exciting games. I mean, I was very happy that MLS did get a victory today with Miami. I think the level of play is very good. I think the Club World Cup, in my opinion, is a good idea. I think it brings together the club teams in a big event. So I will sit back and watch the game as a fan. And who knows? I don't know. I can't predict the winner. But they're 2 very top teams.
We have interpretation working again.
Nico Tamurian, Como News here in Seattle. Over here. How you doing, Coach? Just the idea that...
I got it now.
There you go. The heart that your team showed. Down 2-0, you come right back with a goal. And then certainly, even down the stretch, creating so many chances. What does it say about the heart of this team on this stage to be able to do that?
Well, courage. I used intensity and grit and never quit and determination, but the players showed courage today. I mean, they were down and they were able to come back and still fight and, play brave. Atletico's strength is in their transition and their counterattacks, but we weren't afraid to attack, and, that opened us up a few times, but, at the end of the day, the players played to win. And that was courage.
In the middle, Mike Varell, Seattle Times. Similar kind of to a question earlier, but when you get more than 50,000 in the stadium here, just the feeling. I'm curious how that hit you. Did it feel like a spectacle? Did it feel like a different environment inside the stadium today? And was it what you kind of expected going into a tournament like this?
Yeah, Mike. It was good. It was loud. And look, we've hosted some big events here. MLS Cups, the CONCACAF Champions League final. These types of events really show, the class, the deep roots that we have with soccer in this community. I mean, the fans were excited. There were some Atletico fans in there as well that helped the energy in the building. But overall, Seattle soccer fans show up. And I appreciate that, being a guy that was born and raised here. I mean, the building was rocking today.
Hey, Brian. Hector Rios for Latin Times. Just out of curiosity, what do you think about the pitch today? Earlier this week, Rivers coach Marcelo Gallardo had said that his players had felt it a little dry, a little heavy. Did you experience any of that from your players?
No, our players think the surface is very good. I have zero complaints about the grass. I thought it's an excellent surface.
Coach Tim Foss, Sounder at Heart, against the biggest team your club has faced so far under your tenure.
So far.
You started Kalani Kosarienzi and Reed Baker-Whiting at fullback. They had pretty tough tasks, pretty inexperienced players. One, what led you to make the decision to start those two players, and how did you feel like they held up?
Well, they did fine. They were good. I mean, look, this is a great learning experience for both of them. The challenges with the left back position after a couple of, not as up to his standards performances by Nuhu led me to that decision. Trying to manage a 3-game week and get freshness on the wing channels because those guys really put in the mileage during a match. Those are the reasons for the changes. And they performed well. It's just, I have a deep squad. By MLS standards, I have a very deep squad. So I can afford to make some of those changes in a 3-game week.
Here.
Hey, Brian Masvida again from CascadierSports.net. Hey, Brian, just going back to the transition, you talked about courage, but what else did you see from your team in their ability to stop, a high-level transition team on defense, and then what were you able to do in transition going the other way on offense? What did you like?
Well, the effort, and we warned them, when you're playing against teams at this level, the recovery as a group has to be there. And I think we did that. Freddie and the coaching staff had a specific exercise before this tournament started about just that particular basic defending principle about recovery. And so we'd attack over here, and then the ball would be here, and I'd make every 11, all 10 guys run back and chase back. And I think the team learned that, and it helped us against these two opponents. The thing I liked, again, because we showed some of that against Botafogo, but, Atletico's a very, very good defensive team. I thought we were able to possess the ball and get the ball from back here higher up the field on numerous occasions. I was very proud of the guys for that.
Final question here.
Elliot Ullman, Cascadia Daily News. These games are not exhibitions. You're playing for something. What will the players and you be able to take going back into the MLS season after facing this kind of competition?
It's a great question to end on because this experience is going to make Reed better, Kalani better, Obed better. Everybody in the whole squad is going to get a little bit better, a little bit more an idea of what it takes to really be at the highest level of our sport. So again, I'm super proud of this franchise for being one of the 3 entrants in this tournament. It's a massive occasion, massive opportunity for this club. And, we've got one more game left to, perhaps learn some more.
This concludes the official press conference with head coach Brian Schmetzer. Thank you.